we're not seeing it being a good investment anymore, or at the moment. Picture the Toronto skyline, cranes everywhere, projects on the go. Right now, it's eerily quiet in the downtown Toronto core and across the GTA with new development projects. Today we're going to dive into an article and figure out why there's been a halt since the fall of 2023 and when potentially we can expect some of these new developments to get back into the game. Are they staying out of sight and out of mind because they don't think it's a good time to put inventory on the market, or is there another reason behind it? Let's go over this article here that we have from stories.com and figure out what the main cause is. My name is Mike Carpino. If you're interested in the Toronto real estate market or GTA real estate market, feel free to book an introductory call with me in the comment section down below. It'll be a pinned comment, or it'll be the first line in the description with my Calendly link for you just to book a half-hour intro call. Let's get into the article here we have from stories.com and figure out what really is happening in the Greater Toronto area. So, article is titled GTA sees a record-setting absence of high-rise condo launches in 2024. If you were looking at pre-construction, or if pre-construction was something that you were heavily investing in over the last 5 years, you have done well. Pre-construction has gone up for almost anybody who's purchased it, but we are kind of out of those times right now. Pre-construction is not as lucrative, and the reality is we are at the peak, or we are just coming off the peak of a market, and there's a lot of hesitation for buyers out there, for builders out there, and they are not sure whether they need to build these projects right away or if they want to wait until the market is a little bit more beneficial to them and to their pockets. With sales being harder to come by, developers may have realized that the launches in the fall of 2023 were a mistake. Thus, we've seen a sharp drop-off come in the new year. When it comes to high-rise condo launches in the Greater Toronto area this year, the market has been pretty quiet. In fact, until just a few days ago, it hadn't made a single peep. On Friday, developer Green Park Group launched sales for their 25-story Richmond Hill development. It was called Evelyn Condos at Rise and Rose. But prior to this, there had not been a high-rise condo launch in what is now almost the first 2 full months of 2024. Anyone who's familiar with new development cycles knows that the colder months can be quiet, but they are never this quiet. In fact, Elliot Trobe, principal at pre-construction sales and marketing firm Pivot Real Estate Group, says this is the first time that he can remember the GTA going on this long without a new high-rise build coming onto the market at the beginning of the year. Data provided by Stories.com by the Atlas Group backs up Trobe's observations. No other year on record in this far into February without a rise. No other year on record has made it this far into February without a high-rise launch. In 2009, the first high-rise condo launch didn't come until February 1st, followed by a second launch February 21st. Although they both ended up being canceled at a later date, the third launch will come later that year on April 4th. Notably, the launch did come to fruition after selling out in March 2010. So right off the bat, we are talking historic data right now for condos not being pushed to the market on the new development side of things. And I can confidently tell you that is because there is a lot of buyers out there who are just confused on whether they think it's a good time to buy or a bad time to buy. And maybe they're realizing that buying pre-construction and locking up your money for potentially 4 to 6 years on a condo development is not going to be as profitable for them if they are looking to potentially flip it, or they just don't want to tie their money up for that long period of time. So let's see what else we have to say here. The only other year when January came and went without any new high-rise launches was in the year 2000. So it's been 24 years since, where the first 2 projects of the year launched on February 1st and February 2nd. Interestingly, 2024 lack of launches isn't the result of a steady month-over-month decline throughout 2023 either. Instead, it was a much quicker drop-off, with launches actually having surged as recently as the fall. Ed Jag, research manager at the Atlas Group, notes that in October alone, there were 11 high-rise launches, something that pushed inventory to its highest level since 2016 and well above the 10-year average for October, he said. Back in the fall, developers were testing the waters with new launches, gauging whether buyers are ready to re-engage, but the sales remain hard to come by and developers quickly started to realize that it may not be a good time to launch. Well, to hear 11 launches happen in October, and I have been talking to a lot of people who are in the new development sector, and they are not selling out. They are having to offer big incentives to even get people to come through the door. And a lot of them who, during the peak 2021, 2022, who didn't even want to deal with realtors because they knew their sales centers were going to be filled to the brim every single day until it was sold out, are now offering commission packages and benefits for the realtor to bring their specific client to the sales center. So the tables have definitely turned, and new development because of this has halted. 11 projects is a ton of inventory, and if you're not going to sell these projects out, they down the road potentially may not come to life. This happens all the time. If a project can't sell enough to crack ground, they may not be able to move forward with the project. There were about 30 different launches in the fall, of which almost nobody did very well. The expectation of coming out and getting 30, 40, 50, or 60% of your sales done, nobody was able to hit that. So even that 30% barrier, nobody was able to hit. To put some numbers on it, October new condo apartment sales, while up from the previous year, were still down 29% from the 10-year average, according to data from the Atlas Group. This left 16,362 units of unsold inventory at the end of the month. By December, new condo apartment sales were down an even more depressed 66% on the 10-year average, leaving an even higher 16,850 units that were unsold. Unbelievable. When exactly high-rise launches will pick back up is hard to say, with seemingly just one tower that has been free developments. Planned $800 million hotel and residences downtown Toronto is expected to launch in the next couple of weeks, and it's not for lack of planned projects. There are dozens and dozens of developers with fully crafted plans that were expected to launch their buildings last year. They chose to hold off until 2024. One report from Urban Nation released in November estimated around 40 projects in the GTA have been put on hold. So this is pretty amazing. So we are understanding here that developers are ready. They have the plans, they have the advertising, they have the media. Everything is ready to launch some of these projects. They might even have the sales centers sitting there, but they are unwilling to launch them because they feel it's not a good time. Whether that is the interest rate market here, whether that is the pricing and noticing that people are just not able to afford housing as much as they were several years ago with the lower rates and the lower inflation. It's very interesting. So what's going to happen with all these projects? 2024 will obviously show us the big picture by the end of December, whether these 40 projects even come to fruition or if they kind of decide it's not a good time to put these on the market and push it even further into 2025. There's a ton in the pipeline alone. We've got thousands of units ready to launch, Tobe said. When will we bring them out? We don't know. I've got sales offices sitting ready with creative brochures. Everything is done. But if you can't sell it, there's no point in bringing it to the market. Although there has been an upswing in overall home sales in the GTA, that renewed the interest has largely been in the resale market. In fact, just last month, new home sales hit a near quarter-century low. Low and mid-rise pre-construction homes have seen a little bit more success, prompting a few new projects to come to the market this year. Mattamy Homes launched an 8-story Mile Creek Phase 3 in Milton earlier this month, for example. It's notably low-rise projects that typically have a much shorter closing period, so between 18 and 24 months, compared to the high-rise that you can be talking 4 to 6 years to get something to be completed. Even with such disappointing numbers to start the year, Tobe is optimistic that this high-rise lull is part of the cycle and means good things are on the horizon. Resale went first. We saw that low rise is the natural next step, and then high rise will come back, he said. All right, so what I want to discuss now, we've seen articles about this time and time again. Pre-construction is not what it was 4 to 6 years ago. Things are changing, and it really has to do with the real estate market and what that climate is like right now. If you were to go out there and look anywhere in the GTA, Toronto, Milton, Brampton, Mississauga, any new condo development, even these Milton ones here, the prices are not necessarily that attractive. The only projects that are selling out, for example, one of these projects that was just done in Milton had a extremely low entry price point per square foot, under $1,000 per square foot, which is below your average resale price. In turn, you're going to get people who are buying that because it makes sense for the market. But generally, when you are buying a pre-construction project, what you have to understand is you're actually paying for the future value. So if these developers see the real estate market being higher in 4 to 6 years, you're actually going to pay for that upfront in their purchase price. So you, as the consumer of this pre-construction product, you have to think, are you potentially going to be going backwards on price in the next 4 to 6 years? What's the outlook for the real estate market? Do you trust the Canadian economy with everything else being so expensive? Does it make sense to go pre-construction right now? Or do you have the money to just buy something resale today? And I am definitely a proponent of buying something that is available today, especially in this market, because you can buy it at today's value, you can enjoy it, you can rent it out and pay down the principal and interest on that condo. And in 4 to 6 years, you would have made money, assuming that you've rented it out, or you would have used it as your primary residence. If you're just waiting 4 to 6 years on pre-construction, you're still gonna have to give 10 to 20% as your down payment, and you're gonna be out of this money. Essentially, you might have had this money in your investments, and you're pulling it out, so you're no longer making the interest in there, you're no longer making those gains. So you have to understand that real estate is an investment for a lot of people, especially on the pre-construction side, and we're not seeing it being a good investment anymore, or at the moment. So that is why we are currently seeing such a standstill when it comes to these units being sold and actually converting. To have 11 projects in October go through and have 16,000 units that have been unsold is amazing. It's a ton of units. That matches the resale side of things and plus some. So you really need to make an informed decision when you are going to go to one of these pre-construction sale centers and understand the whole process and understand how long it might actually take and what you're paying for at the time in 2024, for example, versus what you would be on the resale side of things. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you, at this point in 2024, willing to buy something that's pre-construction? Or are you way more on the side of buy resale and enjoy it now? Me personally, I've mentioned it several times, I have bought pre-construction in the past, but today I would only dabble in resale if it was my personal money. If you're interested in buying a condo or pre-construction and you want to book a call with me, click my link in the description below. We can hop on a call and kind of break down what the differences are in the current market in the area that you're looking to purchase something. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you could and you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and put a comment in the comment section down below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.